If you're posting on Instagram and you're not using stories properly, you're leaving tens of thousands on the table. Because in the last 12 months, my clients at EC Group have generated millions of dollars, not just from Reels or ads, but from Instagram stories itself. Clients like Kieran and Kieran, who have generated 71k cash collected in a single month from their offer that has only been launched for 3 months. Luca, who scaled his offer to 50k within 30 days, and also Amari, who scaled his offer in 30 days to 43k cash collected. I have personally generated over 100k from Instagram stories alone. No viral content, no massive following, just understanding how attention actually converts. My name's Dwayne Foster, I'm the co-founder of EC Group. In 2025, we helped generate over $4.8 million across some of the online offers we are actively scaling right now. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why Instagram stories are one of the highest returning assets for your business if done properly, and why most people are using them completely wrong. I'll show you why stories convert better than posts, the psychology that makes people watch every frame, and the exact structure we use at EC Group to turn stories into consistent sales. If you're a coach or consultant or someone scaling an online offer and you want to implement a strategy that turns leads into ready to buy prospects, watch this video. It could change the way you make money online forever. So let's get into it. What people don't actually understand is Instagram stories are one of the best ways to connect with your audience on a deeper level, as well as collect more cash for your business. And a lot of people, sometimes they will focus maybe more on Reels or maybe focus more on Instagram stories. But when you can combine the two, you will create a nurturing system that is so good that by the time a prospect jumps on a call with you, they're ready to buy. And I want to break it down in terms of what stories are used for and what Reels are used for. So if we just scroll over here, we can obviously have a look, and we can also see that stories is where you make your audience fall in love with you, and you can actually see who you really are as a person, as well as being able to show proof of what you can deliver, case studies, and also behind the scenes. Now, Reels itself, and you'll be able to see here, is where most you can bring in a new audience and also nurture your current audience. So your current audience will be able to see these Reels, but you'll be able to see that a lot of people that don't follow you will also see these Reels and engage. And to show you what I mean, I actually have a breakdown of one of my Reels here that got 2,343 views, but followers, 15.4% of the views came from my followers. 84.6% came from non-followers. So that's new people that don't actually follow me. Now, the most important thing is the people who are interested in your services or relate with your content and stories will let you know how effective they are and if they are performing. And you want to gather as many data points from which stories have the best retention, likes, and then you want to double down on creating stories that perform. So for example, some of my stories, and when you're doing things properly, is you'll receive likes from potential buyers, or maybe it's even some of the clients you currently work with who resonate with what you're putting out as well. But it's important to stay consistent as well. Now, when done properly, this strategy is so effective. But the reason why stories is, I would say, so important is 70% of users on the app watch stories daily. That means if someone opens Instagram, there's a high chance, roughly 60 to 80%, they'll also view stories during that session. Now, so imagine every time a prospect or a customer opens their Instagram app, you are always somewhere at the top here. You're always here. So you can see here under Shelby Sapp as well. I've posted a story, Dwayne Foster. So every time someone comes on our app, they're going to see me there. Now, you're probably saying, well, Dwayne, show me proof that this works. Show me proof that I should put a strategy behind this. Well, if we scroll down here, and before I even go into the clients that have implemented this process and went from 0 to multiple 5 figures, I actually want to show you how I've used this myself. So I use this exact strategy for a consulting offer I launched 4 months ago. And this is what we collected through Fanbasis alone. This is about WAP. This is about just instant bank transfer or Wise that we use. So the reason why it's so effective is that so much of these leads that come in, if you're running any type of funnel, we need a chance for them to see what type of person you are, your personality, your wins, your losses, everything. So one of our clients, Luca, who started with 1,000 followers, and we've been working with Luca now for around 4 or 5 months. Luca has implemented this strategy since the very beginning of launching his offer, and now he's 10x his following and made hundreds of thousands from his offer that he launched a couple of months ago. But the most important thing about this is, as his followers have grown and he has continued to do stories, more and more and more people have been nurtured through that time. And just to show you, if we scroll across, we can see when he first started. So, for him, new Benti onboarded, wins. So closed 2 people for a packet, 4K package, closed another deal. And if we scroll down again, closed, also got an email. Hope that you well, following our call on Friday. We'd like to go ahead with you as our mentor. Like, these people consume so much content, but also saw all the proof he was putting in his Instagram stories as well. And if we scroll across, we can see 6K cash collected. So he decided to double down, and then also another 4K, another 4K. So it's effective and it works. And I want to show you some clean examples of the type of stories you can use. So here's more of a proof element. So, they're already staging photo shoots booked and they're going live next week. And these are actually people on his program who have had wins and been successful. You can imagine if someone's interested in Luca's offer and they go on Instagram and go on his stories and they see these wins of people doing well and it's Luca engaging. Here we go, just locked in a 21K booking. Imagine the type of proof and what you can put in front of your audience if you show up in front of them every single day. Now, on top of this, it's impossible not to close new clients and create curiosity with people who are interested in your offer if you are always top of mind, as well as showing an undeniable amount of proof. And I want to show you something. So Kieran and Kieran, two guys we're working with from Manchester, started their offer 3 months ago, and straight away they implemented the story strategy. You can see 2 closes today, four out of 4, another 3K. Sales calls they sent over, and then the messages of messages. So Kieran and Kieran pulled off 54K cash collected, so around $73,000. And this was on New Year's when he sent me this message. So from using this type of strategy, but also staying consistent, you can collect a lot of money, but you can also nurture the people that maybe are not ready to buy now, but they might be ready to buy later. Before we go any further, I just want to quickly say a surprising amount of people that actually watch these videos aren't actually subscribed to my channel. Subscribing genuinely helps the channel, but more importantly, it allows us to keep putting out free high-level breakdowns for offer owners, creators, coaches, and also consultants who actually want to grow and scale properly. So if this content adds value and you want more of it, clicking subscribe means a lot, and it helps us reach and support more people like yourself. Right, now let's get back to it. And the most important thing, which I think is, and now we know how effective stories are and how much money you can make if you implement the right strategy. Let's look at the customer buying journey. You can see me and Luca and Kieran having a little dance and a little boogie here. But most leads and, what we all want as, any type of offer that we're currently running, what we probably want is this. So a prospect or a customer follows your Instagram account. They might watch 1 or 2 reels, check your Instagram story, relates to a story or see some strong proof or credibility. Then your appointment setter reaches out, or they click the link in your landing page to book a call, whatever it might be there. Once the appointment setter has a really good conversation with the prospect or customer, there's a few routes that will happen. So let's go to the first one. They book a sales call and they close. Now, if you're in a space like me, this is not how it always goes. Most people will need a little bit more time because they'll need to go through your content. It's important they know who you are, what you've done, what your proof is. But this is what we would like all the time. Someone to book a call and just close. If it was like that, we'd all be millionaires and we'd all be buying Rolls Royces and G-Wagons like Shelby Sapp. But the most important thing here is this. The next step is the prospect doesn't reply. So they doesn't reply for a few days after that good conversation with the setter, but they click that link in your bio and they watch a few YouTube videos. They might opt into a lead magnet that you have attached to your YouTube video, and then they engage with some of your short form content, stories that you continuously post. Your appointment setter follows up and then books a call. So you can see from just going straight from conversation and watching a few reels to book a call and close that they might not respond, but They're going through your YouTube and they're going through your stories. Now, what probably happens for most people and the large majority of leads that come into your profile is does it reply for a few days, then it engages with some of your short form content. Appointment setter follows up, but prospect or customer is not ready to buy just yet. Then they might watch one of your stories where you showcase a YouTube video breaking down something very detailed in your niche, clicks link, watches the video, gets a lot of value. From there, weeks, maybe months go by. Customer prospect continues to see your Instagram stories. So you've been consistent, you've showed up, you've showed so much proof, you showed your personality, you've showed your wins, you've showed your losses, and you've showed behind the scenes the people you're working with. And then that prospect also relates to your beliefs and they like the way you think as a person. From there, prospect customer comes across your competitors because this is something most people don't think about, but majority of people window shop. It's going to happen if someone follows yourself and they're looking for a particular service or product. They're going to shop around and look at maybe what's the cheapest if they've not been on a call with you, or look what brings the best value from looking at reviews and results. Now, once they come across your competitor, they might find that they post similar content to you, they're on it as you, they post YouTube, and there's two things that can happen. Number one, the appointment setter follows up and they find out the prospect has decided to go with a competitor. Number two, appointment setter follows up and after seeing so many results and relating with your stories and content over your competitor, prospect decides to book a call with you over anybody else as you are the person they relate to the most. And they also feel like they know, like, and trust you. And they're ready. And by the time they jump on that call, they're ready to buy. Now, the reason why it's so important is if someone is willing to go and look around and shop, they want to buy. It just depends if you are the person that they're going to buy from. This is the most important thing because what most people do is, if your competitors are creating the same type of content, the only way to stand out is to be yourself, show your personality, who you are as a person, and on top of that, have an undeniable amount of proof that you can deliver what you say you can. This is the most important thing. On top of that, the people you're selling to, either way, they're going to buy. No, they're going to buy. They're going to choose someone. You've just got to make sure you're always top of mind. You've got to make sure you show up. And this is why this story strategy is so effective if done correctly. And if you don't do this, then in today's market, you will have no chance because more than ever, and I'm sure you've all seen, people buy from people. So as well as just spitting value, it's about showing your side and what you're about as a person and what you believe in. Now, let's create some stories. This is the exciting part. So the way kind of me and my team and myself, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I have a story up most days. But the story sequence we follow is Monday with a client result, and that can be a result that one of your clients got. Number two, Tuesday is a transformation. That can be maybe one of your clients where they started, where they are now. It could also be a team member. It doesn't always have to be clients. If you're running a business and you've got people with you, you want to show, you kind of building in public and showing maybe one of your teams they started. For example, I have an appointment setter who's been working with me for a long time. He's recently launched an offer. He signed a few of his clients, and it's amazing that he's been able to take some of our processes and systems away and start his own business, which is powerful. That's another level of proof that people within my business have that opportunity. And I'm not always just trying to sell clients. I'm also trying to bring in A players into my business. Wednesday can be lifestyle. And I don't just mean standing in front of a car or throwing a load of cash. I mean, what you get up to, if you're seeing your family, if you've got a partner, if you've got kids. Thursday, a value post. So that's something maybe you can, if you have a YouTube video and you want to have your link and people can direct them to that video, or you can actually give people insights through your stories, depending on what niche you're in. So for me, I always like to talk specifically about how important content is, how important, how to dial in your ICP, how to dial in your offer. Friday, another client result. So a little bit more of proof. And then Saturday, discuss my offer, what we do. And then Sunday, have a call to action. Now, some people do a call to action all the time. Me, myself, I like to do them maybe twice a week with some lead magnets, but it kind of depends on the type of people you're targeting. Now, in terms of ideation and coming up with stories to do or stories to create, this is where people get a little bit stuck and they overcomplicate the process. The process doesn't have to be difficult. You're not trying to make things up. You are talking about what goes on in your week and your business. So, one thing I do that works very well is I use my calendar from the week before to look back at what's happened in the week, anything I can share with your audience or share with my audience that I know will resonate with them and resonate with my ICP and also my dream follower. And from this, I can literally straight away look at this calendar and I can see I had my management call, I had a start of week meeting with my team, I had one-on-one calls, I had sales calls. So I can just pluck things out from those calls that I've had, or I can go on my Fathom and I can take those ideas and I can put them into my Instagram stories. And you don't want to overcomplicate the process. Share your wins, share your losses, your setbacks, your comebacks, your client results, the conversations you've had, something you've learned, maybe something you regret, a decision you made. Maybe you've made a new hire, give value, YouTube videos, lead magnets, polls, questions, you name it. There's no rules to this game. But the most important thing is to be consistent. That's the most important thing. And as well as that, show your personality. Now, I kind of want to show you a breakdown of how I set it up. So on Notion or my notes, I will use a framework. So for example, story one, Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a sick break over the holidays, but if you're anything like me, you're ready to go to war. So this is how I kind of lay out my stories. I'll kind of lay out each frame. So story one, story two, story three, story four, any links or thumbnails that I'm going to put in that story. And that's how I'll kind of set it up within the calendar. On top of that, if we scroll across, I use Notion to plan all my stories and I have a calendar of what story is going to go out. And if you continue to watch this video to the end, I'm actually going to give you the exact calendar I use and where you can find that calendar as well for your business. Now, once we've got that, the next step is we have to track the data. This is one of the most important things. You can't do this blindly. So we actually have a tracking sheet where we will actually track the viewer's retention. So from the stories we post, if it's value, lifestyle, transformation, what we found in the market is 4 slides works perfectly well. Anything over that, usually there's a decrease. So you can see one of my stories here, locking for content, when it got 101 views, and at the end, that last slide got 79. So around a 21% drop off rate, which is not too bad considering how long that story was. But we found anything between a 1 to 4 is the sweet spot. But it's so important to track the data when it comes and you want to see engagement, what gets the most likes, what keeps the most retention. Then that allows you to double down on what actually works and create more stories that resonates with your audience. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to actually get into making some stories. So I'm going to make a story with you right now so you can see how I put it together. So what we want to do is when we go onto that Instagram app, you can see a picture of me, Alex, and also CJ here. And on there, all I'm going to do is paste my story. And you can see I slide down, I section it a little bit, I put it up to the top just of where I want it to be. And then I'll come off that and I'll look at it and just kind of make sure that, it's not blocking anything in terms of my face or any of the team's face. And then I will save that to my camera roll. Then I'll get my next picture that I want to use. But also, I'll just say if I want to add more text to that story, I will then add text below, copy and paste it on. And then you'll see just here now. So I'll put it on. Let me focus a little bit. This is like serious business, this one. So I'm going to paste my second story. And then once it's in, I'm going to adjust it, put it down. And then I'm going to have that one just at the bottom, just there, maybe slide it up just a little bit more. Then I'm going to save that as a draft. So that now that's saved. Then onto the next picture. So me and Effa just cooking up. Go back to my notes. Gonna copy. Oh, let me just get it all. Copy, paste, then adjust it. And you can play around with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of see what fits well. And then you can see I've just put it to the top. You can use the corners as well on Instagram just to neaten it up. And then if I look at that, that looks clean. I'm going to save it to my drafts. Oh, and then once I've saved it to my drafts, I'm then going to go on to, wait, let me just change one little thing here. There we go. Then I'm going to go back to story 4. I'm going to copy that one, put it back on, paste, just fix it up a little bit. There we go. You can see I'm locked in when I'm doing this. Bam. That looks pretty good to me. Then you can see how I add links. So I'll go down, I'll get one of the links I'm going to use for this YouTube video, copy, come back on, paste it, done. Then I'll put that link just under there. Beautiful, beautiful. Then let's go get a photo. Right, what picture am I going to use for this one? Here we go. So I'll use this one, put it at the top, just there to the right. And then I'm going to use my background on my YouTube. Put it here. Okay. Play around with this one. So this is what I mean. Here we go. So we get that link and then boom. Done. Save draft. Done. And literally, that is it. It doesn't take that long. Like, it's pretty easy just to create it. And I think you don't need to overcomplicate it. You want it to be simple, but it's not more how the story looks. Of course, you want it to look good. You want it to look clean. You want it to be, people go on your stories like, oh, I want to read. But the context and what you put inside these stories is what's going to allow you to nurture your audience. And if you show up and you stay and you be consistent while doing this, you're not just going to make a lot of money, but you're going to take calls with people who are ready to buy instead of being so much friction. But on top of that, what we're going to do is we're going to close up at the bottom in this video, in the description. What I'm going to do for you boys and girls is I'm going to give you the story tracker that we use for our business. And on top of that, I'm also going to give you the story calendar that we use on our Notion. But apart from that, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.